You owe it to yourself in 2026 to stop carrying last year's excuses into a new year that's supposed to change your life. You can't keep dragging old habits, old mindsets, old fears into a season that demands a higher version of you. At some point, you gotta stop explaining and start executing. The past already took enough from you. Don't let it steal another year. Whatever didn't work before, whatever held you back, whatever slowed you down, it's time to put it down. Because growth doesn't happen when you keep revisiting yesterday. Growth happens when you decide today that enough is enough. A lot of people say they want a fresh start, but they keep repeating old behaviors. They want new results with the same routines. They want a breakthrough without a breakdown of their excuses. And that's the problem. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect your ego. They give you something to hide behind. They make failure feel justified. But success doesn't care about your reasons. Life doesn't reward explanations, it rewards execution. And if you're serious about 2026 being different, you owe it to yourself to stop blaming the past and start building the future. You may not be responsible for everything that happened to you, but you are responsible for everything that happens next. That's the shift. That's the moment where power comes back into your hands. Accountability is not punishment, it's freedom. The moment you stop pointing fingers and start taking ownership, your life gets lighter. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You realize the rescue is you. The breakthrough is you. The discipline you've been avoiding, that's the door. Some of you have been stuck in a loop, repeating the same year over and over again and just changing the calendar. Same goals, same effort, same excuses, and you keep wondering why nothing changes. But 2026 is asking you a question. Are you finally willing to do something different? Are you finally willing to show up without excuses? Are you finally willing to be uncomfortable long enough to grow? Because comfort kept you safe, but it also kept you small. And you owe it to yourself to stop shrinking. You don't need a new opportunity. You need a new standard. You need to raise the bar on what you tolerate from yourself. No more saying, I'll try. No more saying next week. No more saying when things slow down. Decide right now that excuses don't get to come with you into 2026. Decide that your habits will match your goals. Decide that your actions will finally line up with what you say you want. This year is not about perfection. It's about progress powered by discipline. 2026 doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a committed one, a focused one, a responsible one. You owe it to yourself to walk into this year lighter, free from excuses, free from regret, free from the lies you've been telling yourself. Drop the weight, step forward, and don't look back. This is your year to execute. You owe it to yourself in 2026 to stop chasing motivation and start living in discipline. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. One day you feel unstoppable. The next day you don't feel like moving at all. And if your success depends on how you feel, you're going to stay inconsistent. You don't owe yourself hype. You owe yourself habits. You owe yourself structure. You owe yourself the kind of discipline that shows up even when the feelings disappear. Because feelings don't build futures, discipline does. A lot of people wait to feel ready before they act. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right circumstances. But disciplined people move first and let the feelings catch up later. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, what needs to be done? That mindset is what separates the average from the elite. Discipline turns ordinary days into extraordinary results because it removes excuses from the equation. When discipline is in place, procrastination has no power. When discipline is in place, distractions lose their grip. When discipline is in place, progress becomes inevitable. You don't build discipline in big moments. You build it in the small ones. In the early mornings when nobody's watching, in the late nights when quitting would be easy, in the days when progress feels slow and success feels far away. That's where character is forged. That's where momentum is created. Every small decision to show up, to stay focused, to keep going, those decisions stack up. And one day you look back and realize you didn't just change your schedule, you changed your life. Consistency beats intensity every time. Anybody can go hard for a week. Anybody can be locked in for a month. But discipline is about showing up daily, even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the results aren't obvious yet. Discipline says, I don't need applause to perform. Discipline says, I'll do the work whether I'm seen or not. And that kind of commitment builds something powerful inside you, self-trust. When you know you'll keep your word to yourself, your confidence grows. You stop doubting whether you can finish because you've proven you won't quit. In 2026, you owe it to yourself to stop negotiating with laziness. Stop giving yourself permission to quit early. Stop lowering the standard when things get hard. The standard is the standard, on good days and bad days. That's how discipline becomes identity. You're no longer trying to be consistent, you are consistent. You're no longer trying to be focused, you are focused. And once discipline becomes who you are, success becomes a byproduct. This year isn't about doing more, it's about doing better every single day. It's about building a rhythm that supports your goals and protects your future. You don't need another motivational speech. You need a disciplined life. You owe it to yourself in 2026 to show up daily, execute relentlessly, and trust the process long enough for it to pay off. Stay consistent, stay disciplined, and watch how far you go. You owe it to yourself in 2026 to stop choosing comfort over your future. Comfort has been costing you years. It feels good in the moment, but it steals from you later. Every time you choose easy, you postpone greatness. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your destiny. Growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in pressure, in sacrifice, in doing what's hard when it would be easier to quit. And if you're serious about 2026 being different, you've got to make peace with being uncomfortable for a while. Most people don't fail because they can't do it. They fail because they won't give anything up. They want success without sacrifice. They want elevation without separation. But the truth is, you can't build a powerful future while protecting a comfortable present. Something has to change. Something has to go. That means late nights instead of early sleep. Early mornings instead of extra rest. Focus instead of distractions. Discipline instead of excuses. You can't keep feeding comfort and expect hunger for greatness to survive. Sacrifice is not about punishment, it's about priority. It's about deciding what matters most and letting everything else fall in line. The people who win at a high level didn't get lucky, they got intentional. They chose long-term results over short-term pleasure. They said no to things that felt good so they could say yes to a future that felt right. And now people look at them like, I wish I had that life, but they don't see the cost. They don't see the discipline. They don't see the lonely grind. They only see the outcome, not the sacrifice that built it. 2026 is asking you a hard question. What are you willing to give up to become who you're supposed to be? Not what you're willing to talk about, not what you're willing to plan. What are you actually willing to release? The habits that waste your time, the people that drain your energy, the routines that keep you stuck. You owe it to yourself to stop holding onto things that are comfortable but destructive. Comfort will keep you safe, but it will never make you great. The truth is, sacrifice hurts before it helps. It feels lonely before it feels rewarding. It feels unfair before it feels worth it. But every sacrifice you make today becomes strength tomorrow. Every uncomfortable decision you commit to now builds confidence later. You don't wake up one day disciplined. You earn it through sacrifice. You don't wake up one day successful. You build it through consistent discomfort. That's the process. That's the price. If you want 2026 to be different, you can't live like it's just another year. You've got to protect your future more than you protect your feelings. You've got to be willing to walk away from comfort to walk into your calling. Because on the other side of sacrifice is growth. On the other side of growth is separation. And on the other side of separation is the life you owe yourself. You owe it to yourself in 2026 to stop playing small and start chasing purpose with everything you've got. No more half effort, no more waiting, no more shrinking to fit spaces you've outgrown. There is something inside you that's been calling you higher, but fear, doubt, and comfort have been keeping you quiet. This is the year you stop whispering your dreams and start moving like you believe in them. Purpose doesn't respond to hesitation, it responds to commitment. A lot of people are busy, but they're not intentional. They move all day, but they don't know where they're going. They grind, but they don't know why they're grinding, and that's why they burn out. That's why they get frustrated. But when your hustle is connected to purpose, everything changes, your energy shifts, your focus sharpens. Your work means something. You stop chasing approval and start chasing alignment. You stop asking, is this enough? And start asking, is this aligned with who I'm meant to become? Purpose requires courage. It requires you to step into rooms where you're not comfortable yet. It requires you to bet on yourself when nobody else does. It requires you to move before you have all the answers, and that's scary, but regret is scarier. Playing small is expensive. Settling costs more than risk ever will. And you owe it to yourself to stop choosing safe when greatness is calling your name. In 2026, you don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things. Purpose simplifies your life. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. It eliminates distractions because you're no longer chasing everything. You're chasing what matters. When you know your purpose, comparison disappears. You stop measuring yourself against people who aren't even in your lane. You stop doubting your pace because you understand your path. Purpose doesn't mean the road will be easy. It means the road will be worth it. You will still get tired. You will still get tested. But now you've got a reason to keep going when it hurts. Purpose gives pain meaning. It turns pressure into fuel. It turns setbacks into lessons. And every time you choose to keep moving forward, you build momentum that fear can't stop. You owe it to yourself to go all in on your calling, to stop waiting for permission, to stop waiting for perfect conditions, to stop waiting for confidence to magically appear. Confidence is built by action. Faith grows through movement. And once you commit fully, the version of you that's been hiding finally shows up. 2026 is not the year to play small. It's the year to move with intention, grind with purpose, and live like the future you want is non-negotiable. Step up, lock in, this is your time.